And now it's time to talk about the largest two-wheeler manufacturer in the world, Hero MotoCorp. They sell more bikes in a month than companies do in a year, right?
Absolutely.
And we're expecting big things from them at the Auto Expo, like the arrival of the X-Pulse.
No, I'm going to stop you right there.
Come on, they're gonna bring it, right?
No.
They showed it at EICMA.
They showed it at EICMA, but that was a running prototype. That bike isn't being launched at Auto Expo. We might see the same bike again to gauge customer reactions, but that bike isn't being launched just yet.
Come on, man, they showed it at EICMA. We were ready for it. Should be here, right?
We have been ready for it for years, but we still have to wait a little bit longer.
I think if you look at the Indian motorcycle market, there are categories that are just, which have spiked in terms of interest. So the on-off category, call it what you will, dual purpose or on-off or ADV. Then there's scooters and of course electrics. So PD has already shot down one. We'll get to see it, and we really hope we do, because that is a very exciting space for all of us. Very apt for India.
And it's a nice looking bike, and now I've been told that is not the final production version of the bike.
Right.
There will be a proper bike that happens on that platform, but that's later on. But what is coming for sure, what is launching for sure, is a bike that we've already seen before at
and is related to the X-Pulse somewhat?
Yes, the motor.
Right
so that is the Hero Extreme 200S.
Right.
We've seen the bike almost in a production, guys, at Expo last Expo
2016. Yeah.
And here it's going to be launched. Okay, PD from the past, hold that thought. This is PD from the present, and I've got some breaking news. The Extreme 200S will be at the Auto Expo, but it's launching on January 30th. So now back to our regular scheduled programming. It might not look exactly the same.
Correct.
There might be some design tweaks going forward, but it's going to be more or less in that category. It's basically going up against your
Pulsar
NS200 and
TVS
RDR 200 Apache.
Right.
What this brings to the table is about 18 and a half, almost 19 odd horsepower, about 17 Newton meters of torque. So not bad on performance. At least that's the specs we've got at Expo 16.
Right.
They again might be revised, not too sure on that, but that's the ballpark.
Right, we have new emission norms and everything, so
Yes,
there might be some tweaks from that.
Some tweaks here and there, definitely. But it will definitely be Hero's first motorcycle, barring the Impulse, which will have a monoshock rear suspension.
Right.
So that is, they are now thinking of a proper, like a modern, sporty handling. Yeah. So rather than
not too down, not too far down the displacement class, not too far up.
Yes,
right for the Indian market.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
And that segment is sort of taking off if you think about it. So, that's definitely a great sort of bike to plug in there.
And they are, like we said, the biggest manufacturer in India.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about electric. Are we going to see anything electric from Hero?
Well, from what I've heard, they won't. They might have a couple of concepts, but nothing really solid. Like they showed off some mad scooters at last Expo.
Right. They've been showing hybrids and electrics.
Yeah. So this year, those are being downplayed a little bit. From what I understand, the focus is definitely going to be on the Extreme 200S and a new scooter, an internal combustion scooter, a proper scooter.
Right.
From what we understand, it's a 125cc scooter. So if you remember back at Expo 2014, they had showed off a scooter concept called the Dare. Now, of course, that if you look at it now, it looks quite outdated, but a new version with that ethos would be launched at this Auto Expo. So 125cc, big wheel, maybe a 12-inch wheel at the front, or maybe both 12-inch wheels for all you know, disc brake option, telescopic forks. And if you think about it, Hero doesn't have a scooter in that segment at all. So they have 100 110s, they don't have a 125. Yeah. So something definitely in that space.
And the Dare was also a kind of like a young, sporty looking.
It was sporty, but a little old school. In the sense that
for back then,
back then it was pretty.
So again, we're seeing that trend towards maybe going up the displacement ladder when it comes to scooters, and making things a bit more trendy, right? In that sense.
Definitely. And Hero is getting designs quite well. Their current top of scooters looks quite nice, like the Maestro Edge. It's a good looking scooter for its segment. Right. So I think they're going to get that right. And of course, we met the R&D team. They're a smart bunch of chaps. They know what they're doing. So even when it comes to power plants, they're definitely getting up there.
Right.
So I mean, that's I think what we can probably expect at the Hero stall this time around.
So we know what's coming from Hero now at the Auto Expo. It might not seem very high in terms of excitement outright, but nonetheless, anything that Hero does will be making big news, and we'll be tracking it, and we'll give you all the updates as we run up to the Auto Expo. A link to the story will be in the description below, so do click on that to find out more even later as we run up to the Expo.
And of course, do subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Do like this video and do share it as well.